Hi there, this is Tony from pianotone.ca, and this is my initial reaction video to my new Yamaha PSR-EW425 keyboard. I will be doing a full review, but that will take a while for me to put together, so I wanted to get this initial reaction video out right away, so let's check it out. So released back in 2018, the super popular 61-key PSR-E473 and the 76-key version, the PSR-EW410, have finally been replaced by the PSR-E473 and the PSR-EW425. In anticipation of buying one of these new keyboards, I actually rented a PSR-E463 for about a month to familiarize myself with it and to do a review, which I will link to below. These keyboards finally became available in my area, and I immediately bought the 76-key version, the PSR-EW425. While I've only had it a few days, I have to say I'm pretty much blown away by the overall feature set that this keyboard offers. Now, before I go on, I do want to mention that the E473 and the EW425 are almost exactly the same. So other than a couple of differences that I will mention as I go, you can consider this video to be applicable to the E473 as well. So I mentioned in a recent video that I'm starting to be of the opinion that I'm kind of approaching being done with any keyboard or piano that doesn't have a decent user interface and makes you rely on complicated key combinations to change settings, or to rely on an app that may be laggy or generally unreliable, and maybe one day not even supported. And while I have owned some digital pianos and keyboards that I've really liked that do a few things extremely well, each one of them always seems to be just missing something that I wish it had. Some may have great key action and good sounds, but not a great user interface, like my Casio PXS-1100. Others, like my Korg EK50 Arranger keyboard, may have had a phenomenal user interface and decent sounds, but don't have a built-in audio interface. Or others may still have a good user interface and amazing sounds, but tiny speakers, no practice rhythms, and no left and right line outs like my Casio Tone CTS-1. This is where the Yamaha PSR-EW425 and E473 come in. These two keyboards have by far the most complete overall feature set I have ever seen on any keyboard or digital piano, including a huge new feature for me that I haven't seen on any of these keyboards or pianos that I've owned or rented. And all of this is for an amazingly inexpensive price of around $370 for 61 keys, or around $490 for 76 keys. Let's get into the details. The voices. The PSR-EW425 and the E473 have 820 voices. There's 294 panel voices, which are really the important ones. There's 28 drum and sound effects kits. There's 40 arpeggios and 458 XG Lite voices. This list includes Yamaha's advanced Live, Sweet, Cool, and Super Articulation Lite voices. The voices on the EW425 and E473 are exactly the same, except the EW425's second piano voice is a live grand, and the E473 is a stereo grand. And the EW425 also has 10 slightly enhanced organ voices, where Yamaha has added a percussive click sound at key on and key off, and a leakage sound to try to provide some more realistic organ sounds. But the other 809 voices are exactly the same on these two keyboards. So to me, and many of you who mostly play piano, the most important voice out of all 820 is the default piano sound. And I have to say, this voice does not disappoint. The default piano on both keyboards is Yamaha's Live Concert Grand voice, which at this price range is nothing short of spectacular. And to be honest, it's probably on par with voices in a lot of digital pianos that can cost up to twice as much. I'm actually really looking forward to comparing this voice not only to my Casio Tone CTS-1 keyboard, but more so to my Casio PXS-3000 main piano voice, just to see how this one compares. Here's a quick sample of the default piano, as well as a couple of other piano voices. So while Yamaha PSR keyboards have always had good quality sounds, especially the pianos and electric pianos, there have been some big improvements over the last couple of years. The PSR-E373 was the first one to add that new live concert grand voice, which was a significant upgrade over the 363 and 463 main piano voices. And the EW425 and E473 have upgraded this voice further with increased polyphony, now up to 64, and some upgraded processing. So as impressive as that main piano sample is, and to be honest, a lot of the other piano voices in there are also really good quality. I wish I'd had a camera filming me to capture my reaction when I first heard some of the electric pianos, in particular the cool suitcase electric piano. I think I actually started giggling out loud to myself when I started playing that one. Here's some examples of some of the electric pianos. So I will demo a bunch more of the voices in my full review, but here's just a quick sample of some of the other voices, including a couple of the super articulation light voices, as well as some layered voices and some split voice examples. Okay, so effects and DSP. If you're someone who likes to tinker with your sounds, the EW425 and E473 have a lot to offer. 12 types of reverb, 5 types of chorus, and 4 types of EQ presets. For digital signal processing, these keyboards will actually allow 2 DSP effects to be happening at the same time, which is kind of unheard of in this price range. There's 41 DSP effects to choose from for your first DSP channel, and then 12 more in your second DSP channel. And you also have 2 live control knobs for on-the-fly modifications to your voices, and there's also a new motion effect button to add a combination of effects all at once, and there's a mega boost button to temporarily add up to 6 decibels to your overall volume. That does only apply to the speakers, though, not to the line outs or the headphones. Okay, for key action, the keys on these 2 keyboards are full-sized organ-style synth action keys with 4 options for touch sensitivity. The E473 has 61 keys and the EW425 has 76. I have to say that while the key action is still pretty light, these keys do feel noticeably upgraded from the keys on the PSR-E473 that I had rented. I'm not sure if that's just because my keyboard is brand new or not, but there's definitely seems to be a noticeable difference. They actually feel more similar to me in terms of quality to the keys on the Korg EK50 that I used to have. And that's definitely a step up on the PSR-E463. Do keep in mind, though, that these keys are not weighted or semi-weighted, so they won't feel anything like an acoustic piano. That being said, they do have a very accurate touch sensitivity curve, so once you get accustomed to them, controlling your playing dynamics is really easy. User interface. The user interface on the prior model, the E463, was pretty good, but Yamaha has made some significant improvements in key areas on these new models. You still have a really good display that shows tons of useful information, and you still have a lot of convenient quick access buttons for things like layering, splitting, working with rhythms, including the ability to mute style parts, saving and recalling up to 32 registrations, doing some recording, and then returning quickly to your main piano voice. But some very welcome changes on the new models, including a huge one, especially on the 61-key E473. The panel buttons for transposing keys can now also be used to shift octaves. On the PSR-E473 to switch octaves, you had to dive into the menu, but now you can do it quickly. And another new feature is the numeric keypad is by default disabled and replaced with quick access category buttons for navigating through voices and rhythm styles. This method of navigation, in my opinion, works way faster, so this is an awesome change. But if you prefer using the numeric keypad, if you've got voice numbers memorized or rhythm numbers memorized, you can at any time switch back to using those buttons as the numeric keypad if that's what you prefer. Rhythms and accompaniment. The PSR-EW425 and the E473 both have 290 rhythms with optional auto accompaniment, which is an increase over the prior model. As with the prior models, there's 2 variations for each: fills, optional intros, endings, and a sync start option. And you can still mute style parts, which is an awesome feature. For chord detection, these 2 keyboards now have 2 modes compared to the single mode available on the PSR-E473, which was just the generic fingered mode. Yamaha has added their smart chord mode, where you can specify the key signature for a song. Then that allows you to use single fingers in your left hand to trigger the diatonic chords for that key. For some reason, Yamaha continues to lag a little bit behind the competition in this area, which typically has 5 or 6 chord detection modes. In particular, it would have been a huge feature for me if these keyboards included full keyboard chord detection, which is great for piano players and really suits my playing style, but it's not the end of the world. I will demo these features in my full review. Connectivity. Okay, this is where the PSR-EW425 and E473 really start to leave the competition in the dust. There's a 1/4-inch headphone port. I do wish they'd put that on the front, but whatever. There's a 1/8-inch audio in port for streaming and backing tracks, which I do all the time. And something worth mentioning here that I've noticed on every Yamaha I've tried is they seem to balance the audio in level with the instrument level much better than a lot of the Casio keyboards do. On my Casio Tone CTS1, the keyboard volume is way too high relative to the audio in volume, so if you turn up the external audio source to match, it ends up distorting. This is not an issue with the Yamaha, and you also have some extra level of control on the Yamaha with the ability to adjust the audio and volume level in the function menu. There's a 1/4-inch sustain pedal port. No pedal is included. I will link to one below that has a polarity switch that I recommend. There's also proper left and right line outs for connecting to external audio equipment, which makes these keyboards great options for gigging and performing. There's also a USB Type-A port for a flash drive. You can quickly and easily record high-quality direct audio to a flash drive, or you can use this for playing back audio files, so another source for an audio in for backing tracks, or for saving or loading additional registrations over and above the 32 onboard registrations. But here's where it starts to get super cool. The EW425 and E473 both have a 1/4-inch mic input with a gain knob, and you can further tweak the volume in the function menu. And there are multiple effects you can add to your voice. But then to top that off, there's a really well thought out panel button where you can toggle between effects being on for singing, or off for talking, or you can mute it altogether. So this is a fantastic feature for anyone who wants to sing and play at the same time, whether it's actually performing or just at home for fun. And keep in mind, since these keyboards can run on batteries, you could go busk in the street or a park, or play in a small cafe without anything other than your keyboard and a mic. And note that the E473 has 12 watts of speaker power, and the EW425 has a whopping 24 watts. And in my initial speaker tests, they sound fantastic. And if you are playing a bigger room and using an external amp, then having a mic input on the keyboard not only gives you the convenience of the toggle buttons that are right in front of you to control your effects or possibly mute the voice, but it also saves and frees up a port on your amp or PA that you're using. Do note that a condenser mic won't work in this port since there's no phantom power being provided, but a dynamic mic works beautifully. So as cool as that mic in feature is, the other huge feature is that just like on many other Yamaha keyboards and pianos, there's an audio interface built into the USB to host port. On most other manufacturers, this port is only used to connect your keyboard to a device to transmit MIDI data and connect with apps on your device. The Yamaha does do this as well, so you can use it as a MIDI controller, but it also sends high-quality direct audio through this port. This is a fantastic feature that I had on my Yamaha P125 piano that I've really missed having because I used it all the time. So on keyboards that don't have this feature, if you want to record the audio of your keyboard to DAW software on a PC or a tablet like GarageBand, or if you want to record a piano video with high-quality audio, then you're going to need an external audio interface device like a Focusrite Scarlett or a UA Volt or a Roland Go Mixer Pro. As an example, when I record piano videos or piano review videos, I will even use a second external device, a mixer, to combine my mic and the keyboard together first. So I would have cables going from my piano's audio outputs and my microphone connected to this mixer, and then the mixer connects to the audio interface. Then the audio interface connects to my iPhone, sending it the final mixed audio to use in the video that the camera is recording. But for the video you're watching right now, what am I using? My mic, my keyboard, and my phone. That's it. And while I could be using just the built-in camera app to do this, instead I'm using the Yamaha Rec and Share app, which is a fantastic free app from Yamaha. The app is only compatible with their newer keyboards, though, like the PSR-E473, 425, and the E373. And remember, since the keyboard can run on batteries, I could take the keyboard, my mic, and my phone anywhere and make a high-quality piano video with vocals without any other equipment like mixers, audio interfaces, or bulky audio cables. I will be doing a full review and demo on using the Yamaha Rec and Share app in the next month or so stay tuned for that. Okay, so other features. So there are still a lot of other features that these keyboards offer that I will go over in my full review that I'm just going to quickly mention here. There's MIDI song recorder built in that you can use to record up to 10 songs with 6 tracks each. There's a groove creator with 35 grooves to choose from. You can record up to 4 samples, either using the mic or audio in, and then trigger those with sample buttons. There's 26 types of harmony to choose from and 152 types of arpeggiators. There's a one-touch setting where the keyboard recommends voices and settings based on your current rhythm choice, and there is, of course, a metronome. And as far as weight goes, the E473 weighs in at 15.5 pounds, and the EW425 is just over 18 pounds, so both are nice and easy to move around. Okay, so final thoughts. My thoughts on these two new keyboards from Yamaha, in my opinion, if having fully weighted keys isn't super important to you, then the Yamaha PSR-E473 and EW425 are definitely the two best value keyboards on the market today. Other than not having weighted keys, these two keyboards include pretty much every other feature I can think of, and then extra ones like this mic input with gain and effects. If I was to make a wish list for the perfect list for a keyboard for me, it would look something like this. Good quality and selection of sounds, especially piano and electric piano. Good user interface. A menu screen, lots of buttons, including quick access buttons for important stuff like octave shifting, transposing, splitting, and layering. And I don't want to have to memorize any key combinations or refer to a manual or depend on an app. Decent action, most importantly with consistent and predictable dynamic control. Registrations to save common settings and or setups for my repertoire. Left and right line out ports, which is important for recording and for performing, and also allows the speakers to be enabled as monitors if you're connected to an external amplification or PA system. Decent speakers, and as I mentioned, 24 watts on the EW425 is amazing, and the 12 watts on the E473 is more than double what you get on the comparably priced Casio Tone keyboard. A good selection of rhythms and accompaniment, definitely something I love to have for practicing, but possibly to also use for performances or even for making my own custom backing tracks. Decent portability, not too heavy, and the ability to run on batteries. Audio in options for streaming backing tracks that have well-balanced and configurable volume levels. These keyboards have 2 options. There's the audio in port, which is probably what I'm going to use, but you can also replay tracks from a flash drive. Built-in audio interface for easily recording piano videos with high-quality audio or to send high-quality audio to a device directly without needing an external audio interface. And the ability to record high-quality audio direct to a flash drive, which is a super easy way to transfer those audio files to a PC for editing. Well, these two keyboards from Yamaha are the only keyboards or digital pianos that I'm aware of that have all of these features. And they do that for $370 US for 61 keys or $490 US for 76 keys. And on top of that, they even add that super useful feature of a mic input with gain effects and then onboard buttons to control those things. The only other products I know of that even come close to this feature set are the Yamaha DGX670 digital piano, which is an amazing product. While it actually does have a mic input, it weighs a whopping 50 pounds, doesn't run on batteries, and doesn't have left and right line out ports. And the other would be my recent digital piano purchase, which is the Casio PXS-3000. This product actually probably comes closer to meeting all these requirements since it does have the left and right line outs and is pretty light at 24 pounds and does run on batteries. But the Casio doesn't have a built-in audio interface. It doesn't have that mic input port. And while the user interface is pretty good, the one on these Yamahas is still quite a bit better with a much bigger screen displaying more information and more dedicated buttons. So even without completing my full review, which is coming, I can definitely recommend the Yamaha PSR-E473 and PSR-EW425 keyboards as long as you're okay without weighted keys. As I said before, in my opinion, these are the best value keyboards on the market today. I spent the extra $120 or so on the 76 key version to get the 76 keys and the bigger speakers, and that was worth it for me. But to be honest, with the new onboard octave shift button, the 61 key E473 would have been an awesome choice as well. So thanks for checking this video out. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. That does really help me out. And stay tuned for my full in-depth review on these keyboards, which I should have out within a few weeks. Thanks a bunch and have an awesome day.